On the Direct Rock sampler, a sample tube must be installed on the attachment to collect the powder. Once the sample is collected in the tube, you may remove it from the Direct Rock sampler and sieve it to separate any large pieces which could negatively affect your analysis. The minimum amount of sample required to press a pellet is 5 milliliters without chips. It's recommended that at least 7 to 10 milliliters is collected to ensure you have enough sample. When you have collected enough sample, shake the sample tube to improve sample homogeneity. You can see here that we now have enough powder to prepare a pellet. Here we have transferred the collected sample from the sample tube to a 250 micron sieve to separate out the large particles. Now we are ready to press a pellet. Preparation for using the mill begins with chipping pieces from the rock sample. Once you have some rock samples, place them inside the crusher base. With the chisel attachment placed into the holder, break the larger pieces into smaller chips. Continue to place enough pieces into the base until you feel there is enough material which represents your sample. Once the pieces are less than about 2 centimeters in diameter, insert the flat crusher attachment into the holder. Several blows of the hammer should be enough to reduce most of the rock to less than 8 millimeters, which will then need to be sieved. Transfer the material in the bottom of the crusher base into the sieve. You can see here that the rock is now the appropriate size to deliver to the mill. Once the mill is connected to either an automobile battery or some other 12-volt DC power supply, the mill must be powered on and the sample bag attached to the collected milled material. Slowly feed the sieved material to the mill with the mill feed valve in the closed position. You can see here the mill material being collected in a sealable bag. Once the mill sounds like it is done milling the material, you may shut off the mill with a switch on the back and then remove the sample bag. Here you can see the fine powder generated by the mill. With this material, you may now generate a pressed pellet. Now we are ready to press a pellet. Assemble the press as outlined in the user's manual and feed the sieved sample directly to the pellet press. Transfer approximately 1 full tablespoon from the sieve base to the pellet press. Gently tap the side of the pellet press with the hammer to move the powder to the base of the press. The inside of the pellet tube must be free of powder before the piston is inserted in the press. Skipping this step may result in the piston getting stuck in the pellet press, and it can be very difficult to remove. Gently move the tissue down the tube with the piston. You must make